Hey guys, I feel so awkward recording these, but today I'm going to be reading some Today I F'd Up, so let's just get right into the video. Today I F'd up by buying everyone an Ancestry DNA kit and ruining Christmas. This comes from u/snorkels721. Earlier this year, Ancestry DNA had a sale on their kit. I thought it would be a great gift idea, so I bought 6 of them for Christmas presents. Today my family got together to exchange presents for our Christmas Eve tradition, and I gave my mum, dad, brother, and 2 sisters each a kit. As soon as everyone opened their gift at the same time, my mum started freaking out. She told us how she didn't want us taking them because they had unsafe chemicals. We explained to her how there were actually no chemicals, but we could tell she was still flustered. Later, she started trying to convince us that only one of us kids need to take it since we all have the same results, and to resell extra kits to save money. Fast forward, our parents have been fighting upstairs for the past hour, and we're downstairs trying to figure out who has a different dad. TLDR, I bought everyone in my family Ancestry DNA kits for Christmas. My mum started freaking out. Now our parents are fighting, and my dad might not be my dad. Update. Thank you so much for all the love and support. My sisters, brother, and I have not decided if we're going to take the test. No matter what the results are, we still love each other and our parents no matter what. Update 2. Christmas isn't ruined. My F-up actually turned into a Christmas miracle. Turns out my sister's father passed away shortly after she was born. A good friend of my mum's was able to help her through the darkest time in her life, and they went on to fall in love and create the rest of our family. They never told us because of how hard it was for my mum. Last night, she was strong enough to share stories and photos with us for the first time, and it truly brought us even closer together as a family. This is a Christmas we will never forget. And yes, we are all excited to get our test results. Merry Christmas, everyone. P.S. Sorry my mum isn't a W word. No, you're not my daddy. Okay, that was a short one, but I'm glad it had a happy ending. Okay, let's go to the next one. Today I F'd up by owning a golden retriever while being black. This comes to you by u/agent Papier. Sorry if I butchered that. Feel free to correct me in the comments. But damn, why can't people just mind their own business? Sigh. Work was rough today, and all I wanted to do afterwards was sit on the couch and let the TV watch me while eating food not cooked by my own hands. The answer to that? Delivery. Food ordered, I let the dog into the yard to burn some energy and sat camped outside with him while waiting for the delivery. DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber, and everyone else other than Jehovah's Witnesses was trouble locating my address, strictly relying on GPS. So it's nothing for me to post up and wait outside for when they are close, flag them down, and go back inside for a contactless drop-off. Permanent details before shit hits the fan. My neighbour and I share a fence with a doggy door as our pups are super close, and you can bet each time that my dog is outside, hers will follow for a cross-yard playtime. This was the case today, and probably bad judgment on my part to think that I would be able to break up the fun quickly. Both dogs were in the neighbour's yard at the time the notification came through that the driver was pulling up, and I had to call out a few times to get my dog's attention. Neighbour thankfully whistled for her dog, and I had to put on the voice for mine to acknowledge that I existed, and that took off running for my door while waving for the driver, who by this point was getting out the car. Pup and I have a game called Runaway, where I will take off yelling, "Runaway!" and literally he would chase me like some human-sized fetch stick. I used this to my advantage until he realized I was putting him inside, but managed to get him through the storm door and close the screen before he could run out. Then realized that I had left the gate locked like an idiot with the driver standing right outside by this point. I didn't have a mask on this point, and neither did she, so I yelled from the porch that she could leave the food by the mailbox, and this is where the fun started. "Is that your dog?" My bullshit meter didn't go off. I thought she was asking a question with an obvious answer because, duh. She was a dog person, so I engaged with the dog owner gushiness. Yes, blah blah blah, his name is XYZ. Wanna say hi? I'll be nice because you brought my food. But she just stood there awkwardly for a moment, put the food down, and quickly jumped back into her car. In my mind, I was like, okay, weird, but whatever. Snatched the food and went back inside. Went to wash my hands from the kitchen window, and I can see the full street where she's still parked outside. Thinking, okay, weird again, but didn't dwell on it too much, figuring that she was just looking for the route for her next location. I went about my business of preparing to destroy my meal. A few minutes later, the dog begins barking maniacally at the door. I take a glance at the cameras and realize she is still out front, parked directly in front of my mailbox. Okay, what's going on here? I go outside and to try and get her attention, but she's on the phone and doesn't notice me. I walk up like I'm going to check the mail, and she does pull off, but towards the back of the neighborhood that only has one way in and one way out. Lots of people make that mistake, so you'll quickly see cars turning back around, but she never came back. By this time, I think I'm losing my mind, so I go back in, but still watching the street for the car to pass. It never does. I don't know, people are weird, so I just left it at that and went back to eat. About 10 minutes later, dog starts going a ham at the door, so I check the cameras to see 2 police cars are sitting outside my house. I continue to watch the cameras, realizing that, yep, the cops are getting out of the car and walking back and forth in front of mine and the neighbor's yard. I go out to see if there's anything wrong, and they introduce themselves before saying they were called because of a stolen golden retriever was reported at my address, and if there was a dog in the home. It clicked the driver had called the police and then explained my version of what happened. They were really respectful and apologetic, but asked if I could get Sir Pup. I went ahead and opened the door for the dog who took off, ready to greet the new faces outside. His collar has tags matching the address with my name and phone number on it in case he was ever lost or stolen, which was proof enough for them as it was obvious they wanted to get this over as fast as possible. No hard feelings on either side. We were all walking away when the driver's car slowly comes creeping from the back of the neighborhood. I yelled out to them that was the lady right there, and they positioned themselves in front of her car in a way she would have to stop and speak with them. I don't know if this lady was drunk or off her meds, but she rolled down the window and was literally sobbing hysterically that she saw me take the dog from my neighbor's yard, that animals get no justice, and the icing on the cake, my kind only owns pit bulls and Rottweilers. What? There was no way he was mine and needed to be protected. I honestly did not want to deal with that mess, so sorry guys, this isn't a tale of revenge. I went back inside and stayed the frick on my couch. My day was already shitty. Everyone left a few minutes after that, so I assumed she got a warning. However, I did report the incident to the delivery service and was offered credits towards my next meal. I splurged that on a bakery and am currently freaking up a slice of carrot cake. Grateful it didn't end worse. TLDR, ordered food, racist delivery person thought I stole my own golden retriever and had a breakdown when I didn't get carted off in handcuffs. Didn't get shot but got cake in the end. Edit. Wow, Reddit. Waking up to the massive amounts of love and well wishes are amazing. Thank you so much for your kind words. I'm gonna do my best and go through every comment and private message. I wish I could share this cake with all of you. Carrot cake lovers unite. Happy to share this pile of awards with the other great posts and comments. Taking the sound advice to keep a close eye on the dog when he goes out. We'll also share with neighbour just in case. My husband did agree with many of you to seek further action against the delivery driver, but I'm pretty torn on whether to do so. Things are hard out here for all of us, including the less savoury members of our community, but I'll take the day to think on the next steps. Stay classy, everyone. Oh my god. The audacity of some people. That is terrible. I'm really glad it did not end worse. Also, sorry about the noise. There's a little construction going on outside, so I hope it doesn't bother you too much. Today I effed up by causing a shelter-in-place lockdown at my kid's school. This comes from u/crowroutine 9631. How do you cause this accidentally? Now I'm really curious. Ordinarily, I drop my kids in their carpool bodies, turn around and go home. Yesterday, because I had to take my oldest to the doctor at 11:30, I decided to bring my computer, my tea, and some snacks and work in the car for a while instead of driving back across town to go home, back to the school, and then back to the other side of town to go to the doctor, and then back across town to return them to school, and then finally go home. Crossing town once more. The idea of commute clear from one side of the city to the other 4 times instead of 6 times, just under 2 hours of driving instead of just under 3. I've done this before, but I honestly kind of enjoy working from the car. You can just find a shady spot, crack the windows a tiny bit, watch some folk wander by, admire a stray dog, and get to work. And you don't spend money on a pastry, you don't need an overpriced coffee. Just to have a table at some cafe somewhere close to the school. But when I've done it before, I've found an on-street spot a few blocks from the school. Not yesterday. Yesterday I decided to be even more efficient and just pull up to the side of the school and get to work. I dropped my carload of children at 7:40, got out of the car only long enough to retrieve my stuff from the trunk. My little sedan is chock full of children on carpool mornings, and if I'm bringing work with me, it has to go to the trunk with their backpacks, and got straight back into the car. This is important later. When I drove a full 25 seconds to a shady spot near the school and had a few sips of tea and got to work. About an hour later, the sun started to hit my car, so I looked around for a good shady spot where I could keep working, and there it was, right ahead of me, between an abandoned warehouse and the school. Back up next to the railroad, a perfect patch between some overgrown shrubs and junk trees. So I pull the car up there, turn around so I'm facing out and closer to the shrubs, trees for better shade. Take a few minutes to observe the school from this angle. Had never been back there before. Contemplate a huge patch of invasive tree of heaven that they need to kill and get back to work. About an hour later, I'm typing away when my phone starts to blow up. It's all the parents in our carpool group. Someone's kid had been texting them all that the kids are sheltering in place and they're terrified. So I pipe up. I'm right next to the school. I haven't heard any sirens or anything, so I'll just go check it out and get back to you. First, I talked to 2 janitors who happened to be out of the building on the side street leading up to the parking lot. They had not heard that the kids are sheltering in place. So I'm starting to think it's nothing when a cop car speeds into the parking lot. No sirens, but moving fast. So I followed them into the lot. I'd wait about 100 to 150 feet back while someone from the school, a woman I do not recognize, comes out to talk to them. She looks like she's gesturing in my direction, but I don't think anything of it. I figure she's just one of those people who can't talk without moving their hands a lot, and obviously she's feeling emotional. It still isn't clear what's happening. I'm about to park properly and get out and ask when the cops start walking in my direction. Stacked and tattered cops come right up to my window while patchy beard cop keeps his distance but stays close. His thumb hooks in the armholes of his bulletproof vest. Stacked cop wants to know if I was parked behind the school. I was. And then he wants to know what I'm doing there. I was just working, waiting to pick up my kid for the doctor's appointment. And then all the other parents in my carpool group started freaking out, so I told them I'd come check it out. Is it okay if I park and get out? No, it is not okay if I park and get out. I'm to stay right where I am. I put the car in park and wait. He walks back to the school representative lady, and patchy-beard cop comes a little closer to keep an eye on me. After a bit, stacked cop comes back and wants to know whether I really have kids in the school, what their names are and what grades they're in. So I tell them, and he goes back to talk to the school representative lady again. Then he comes back. Didn't you get in a fight with the principal this morning? No, I did not. I was only at the school long enough to drop off 4 kids and grab a couple bags from the trunk. You didn't yell at anyone this morning? No, I did not. Off he goes again, back to the school representative lady. Then he's back on my window again. Are you sure you didn't get in a fight with anyone this morning? No, not even my own kids. Again, all I did was drop them off, grab my work stuff from the trunk, and leave. And back he goes to chat with the school representative lady one last time. When he comes back, I finally get an explanation. Oh my god, what does this lady have against you? Turns out, someone working in the abandoned warehouse reported a suspicious vehicle. Me, watching the school. Me, again, to the school. The school saw my car out the window, put the entire school on lockdown, except those 2 janitors, which makes me anxious for their safety, and called the police. Around that time, everyone in my carpool group starts freaking out, so I pull out my hidden parking space to figure out what's going on. I pull into the parking lot right behind the police, who were there to investigate me. Someone had flipped out at the principal at drop-off this morning. They thought I could have been that person. Sure, I was driving a different car, but I could have gone home, collected an arsenal, and returned in a different car to stake out the school. After all, I'd been parked in one location for an hour and then moved to another location, also near the school, and nobody parks there. Besides, according to Stacked Cop, this is a bad neighborhood and things do happen here. I think he added that second part when I failed to conceal my skepticism when he said the first part. Stacked Cop apologized for all the questions and for more or less detaining me. Note to LEOs reading this, a lot of cars these days are electric or half electric. The fact that you don't hear the motor doesn't mean it's off. If you want someone you think is about to shoot up a school to stay put, you should probably make them turn off their car and hand you the keys. He says, better safe than sorry. If it were his kid's school, he'd be glad they reacted that way, etc. I say, absolutely right, officer. Thank you for doing your job. Definitely better safe than sorry. I'm glad the only threat here was me. They leave. I pull into the nearest parking spot, completely mortified. I text my carpool group, and everyone starts sending laughing emojis and wide-eyed embarrassed emojis as I explain what caused the lockdown. But the embarrassment isn't over. Another mum, someone I know but not in the carpool group, had forwarded me the message she posted on the school's unofficial Facebook page. I tell her it was me, but she already knew it was someone's mum. Someone from the carpool group had texted her kid and told her it was me, or more accurately, that it was my kid's mum. So now, I am waiting to be reprimanded by an embarrassed preteen in half an hour when it's time to get them from the doctor's appointment. The mortification continues. I reach the allotted pickup time, and even though I've called ahead, no one seems to know where my kid is. While they find them, I'm waiting in the front office area, and the school representative lady comes to apologize to me for what happened that morning. I, in turn, apologize to her, saying that it was definitely not my intention to scare anyone. She says not to worry about it. Before they figured out it wasn't that angry parent come back to exact revenge, they all had been terrified that I was going to shoot them when I pulled into the parking lot behind the cops. We're finishing that conversation when my kid shows up, reprimand at the ready. Thanks a lot, Mum. Now the entire middle school knows that it was my mum who caused the lockdown. Personally, I think that the fact the entire middle school knows was the fault of the mum who texted her kid my kid's name. but whatever. Apparently, they moved all the kids away from the backside of the school and had them sheltering 3 deep in a few rooms with no windows on the other side of the school, and it was all my fault. So now I know, just find a freaking cafe to work in over that side of town, even if I prefer to not spend money, and never, ever, ever lurk near a school, ever. TLDR, I parked by my kid's school to work from the car while waiting to pick up my kid from a doctor's appointment. The school thought I was a potential school shooter, and all the kids were forced to shelter in place while the police came to investigate. Oh my god. How did she not realise it? Like, she was talking about her. That's... I would be absolutely mortified. At least she wasn't an actual school shooter. That's terrible. Today I effed up by wearing a shawl, which ruined my relationship with my girlfriend. Okay, I wonder if there's more to this. This comes to you by u/filterface. Minor background, I am a pretty affectionate and at all times effeminate dude. I'm 6'2" and have a pretty tough guy background in that I was in special forces a while ago, and all my roommates all served as well. But I also have thin wrists and sit on my friends' laps and blow kisses to them and shit. I'm not gay, I'm just me. So while I was in a shop with a roommate a few weeks ago, he saw these really cool shawls, and we both couldn't get them out of our heads. He returned last weekend to buy them, and now we have these shawls. Mine makes me look like a Star Wars character, and his looks like the outlaw Josie Wales. Can anyone tell me who that is? These are seriously awesome shawls. The first night we wore them, everyone at the dive bar we went to, dudes, thought we were awesome as hell. Then this girl and her friend arrived on invite from Shawl Bro, and they were seriously turned off by our sweet shawls, like acting pretty weird about them and making comments. Whatever. So I get a call from my GF. She's tired and wants to hang out at mine. So I bid these mean girls and Shawl Bro adieu and head home. I'm still wearing the shawl when my girlfriend arrives, and she's also really taken aback. She won't even kiss me until I take it off. We do the deed and go to sleep. The next morning, she starts asking me if I'm gay, and she's really serious and aggressive about it. I tell her I'm not, that if I was, I'll definitely know by now, and she counters that her major evidence of the fact that I own a shawl. Anyway, she gets weird and leaves, and then sends me a text later about how she's sorry and that she needs to think about what kind of man she wants, and then doesn't contact me for days. So yesterday I invite her out, she's stumbling over her words and talking about how she likes tough guys and how she grew up in the South and needs to get used to the big city, but that she doesn't know this or that, and eventually I just tell her very politely to get effed because I'm pretty insulted by this. On the way back, now that I'm not directly in front of her, I get this long apologetic text from her, but the crux of it is that, yeah, she's just not that into me anymore because I wore a shawl. Later on, I tell Shawl Bro about this, and he also had a blowout with the girl he was seeing over this shawl, and that very same night we went out. We are both going to keep wearing the shawls though, they are warm. TLDR, me and my friend bought cursed shawls, and now we are single. Edit, she's a nice girl, she's just not picking up what I'm putting down. It's a silly thing to be mad about. And by popular demand, here's what he looks like. He kind of looks like he's from June, like he'd fit right in. And I'm definitely getting more of a Western vibe from his friend. I don't know, I think they look cool. Okay guys, that's the end of the video. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, I would really like a thumbs up or a comment on what you want to hear next. Thank you so much. Bye bye.